So this month I am definitely stepping out of my comfort zone and trying something different. Hey there, it's Mitzi. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about a readathon that is taking place during the month of June, and it is called June on the Range. And I love the title of that, but it's all about Westerns. And if you follow my channel, you know that I don't read Westerns, but I did read one. I have a copy of it right here. I read True Grit. I think last year I read this, and I really loved this. My son talked me into reading it. He said, you would really enjoy this. I know you would love this book. So he kept putting it on my nightstand. That's what they do. They sit things on my nightstand for me to read. And I picked this up, and I loved it. It was so good, and it made me interested in reading some Westerns. The only Western I've ever even been interested in reading is Lonesome Dove, because I know that's like the most famous Western there is. I have a copy of that, but still I haven't read it. But anyway, there is a June on the Range readathon. It's a reading challenge to read Westerns during the month of June, and it is hosted by Michael K. Vaughn, and I will leave a link to his announcement video below. He has a lot of co-hosts as well, so I'll try to leave mentions of them below too, so that you can check out their videos, because I'm sure they'll have lots of recommendations for the Western themed books. But the prompts are really just, when I watched Michael's video, he pretty much said, read Zane Grey, read a Louis L'Amour, and then read a couple of books that are not Zane Grey or Louis L'Amour. So I was like, okay, I can do this. It's pretty much just read anything that has a Western theme, and however you want to interpret that, I'm sure he'd be fine with it. But he's just trying to promote the Western genre. So I'm excited about it, and I wanted to participate. But again, all I know is Lonesome Dove and True Grit. So I thought, I am going to try this. I want to see if I can find some other fun Westerns to read, but I didn't want to commit to Lonesome Dove because I already have some books that I want to read that are pretty long, big books to read this summer, and that's going to come in another video, because I think it's called the Big Books of Summer or something like that. That's another reading challenge, and I'll be posting a different video for that. I already have a stack of books selected that I'm going to have you help me choose one of those, so I didn't want to do Lonesome Dove. So what I did was I asked my son if I could raid his library and find some Westerns, because he loves reading Westerns. He's you know, in his 20s, but you know, a lot of times kids his age don't read a lot of, well, I call him a kid. He'll always be my kid. But young adults his age don't read a lot of Westerns. I don't think it's as popular with his generation. Maybe it is, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know if it's popular or not. It just seems like it's more popular with the older generation. In my mind, that's what I assume. But he likes the old vintage books like I do, and so he does collect a lot of Westerns, and he enjoys reading Westerns. So I asked him to let me go through his library and see if I could find something to read for this challenge. So I'm just going to show you some of the titles that he has. I pulled a whole stack of books here. The first stack of books are the Louis L'Amour. Hold on just a second. Let me get those because it's a big stack. Okay, so Michael had mentioned to read a Zane Grey and a Louis L'Amour because they are like the best known Western writers from what I understand. So I have a whole stack here that my son has in his library, and these are all Louis L'Amour books. And I have no idea anything about these. If you've read any of these, let me know in the comments. This one's called End of the Drive, and he told me this is like a novella, so I thought I might squeeze this in just so that I can read something, get a taste of Louis L'Amour. We have Showdown at Yellow Butte, Sackett, the Daybreakers, and these are in these beautiful, I think there's a whole collection of these of Louis L'Amour books, but they're kind of cushioned. They're very nice books actually, and they don't seem like they're that long. This one is Passing Through, and then oh, this one's longer. Comstock Load, Comstock Load. This one seems a little bit longer, but that is a whole stack of Louis L'Amour books. So if you've read any of those, let me know in the comments, because I thought since Michael had mentioned him, I would at least give him a try. And then these were some, y'all, I love the covers of these. These are just some old vintage ones he had. This is called Hunted Gun by Bernard Palmer. Look at that great cover. I loved that. And this one says, tonight there was going to be another shooting. Breck didn't want trouble. He never did, but it was coming. I loved that. I love these little snippets on the front. This one's called Breck's Choice. Wait a minute, Breck? So this was to be a series, because this is about Breck. And this is called Breck's Choice by Bernard Palmer. The gold was gone, his wife and child were dead, and the only clue was a broken hoof print. I love these covers. So that's that one. So that must be a series. This one is by William W. Johnstone, and it's called Law of the Mountain Man. He demanded swift justice at the point of a gun. So that's that one. These sound fun. Now this one I probably will not read, because it says a best-selling series, number 25 of the most violent Westerns in print, Edge, Violence Trail by George G. Gilman. He's holding a knife. I'm not into too much violence, so I don't want to read the most violent Western there is. So I probably will pass on this one. My son can handle violence a little bit more than I can. And then we have Shootout at Buffalo Gulch, another Bernard Palmer. A fake train robbery, a strange murder. Breck searches for the mysterious woman who holds the key. Again, one of these vintage covers. So I love the covers of those. I also picked up, he told me I should read this one. This is the one my son said I should read, by Zane Grey. It's called The Mysterious Rider. He has this beautiful copy of this, and it's in this this plastic, but it's beautiful. It goes all the way around. And I just love that copy, that vintage copy of this. It doesn't seem like it's that long. Ooh, look at that. That is gorgeous. I don't know where he got this from. He's like me. He treasure hunts for all these books. But anyway, this is a Zane Grey, so I think I might read this one, since Michael had mentioned to read at least one Zane Grey. I've never read any Zane Grey, but I've heard he you know, was one of the most famous Western writers. So I have that one. He also had picked this up, I don't know, I think he picked this up at like Books A Million or something, but this is like, I think, a short story collection by Zane Grey. So if I want to just, you know, pick up this and read a few to get a sampling, I might do that. It just says Classic Westerns by Zane Grey. And then this one looked really interesting. I thought I would read this. I just love the cover of this. I don't know if it's a kid's book. The way it looks, it might be. But the cover, I loved that cowboy on the front of it. And it's called The Coming of Hopalong Cassidy by Mulford, I think's the name. Clarence E. Mulford. And I just love the look of that. It doesn't seem like it's that long either. So that would be one. So another one that my son had that caught my attention because it's nonfiction is, this is the Legends of the West series. And this one's called The Lifetimes and Treacherous Death of Jesse James. And I love anything to do with Jesse James. So I think I would like this because I do like nonfiction. I watch a lot of documentaries on things like this. So I think I would enjoy this one. Again, let me know if you've read it, but I thought I could pull, you know, a couple of these shorter Western fiction to read, and then maybe pull this nonfiction to read too. I don't know how much time I'll have to participate. I mean, as long as I read one, but that really did catch my eye, so I'm interested in reading that one. And then he also, my son is a huge graphic novels comic book fan. I remember when he was a small boy, he was just toddling around, 2 or 3 years old. And my daddy would call me and say, bring him over here. I want him to watch Batman with me. And they would watch a Batman cartoon together, the old Batman, you know, the old ones. And so my son fell in love with Batman little. Well, I didn't like violence and stuff, so I didn't let him watch like the movies and things. So he was like, when I get older, I'm going to make movies that everybody can see, because he'd get so upset with me because I wouldn't let him watch all that violent stuff. But he loved Batman, and he loved anything to do with comics, especially DC comics. So he has been collecting those for years, and he has a lot of graphic novels and comic books. I mean, he's got a collection like me with my books. He's really into that. So he also has some comic books and graphic novels that are Westerns too. Now, I probably won't read these. I just thought I would share them in case you're interested. These are a lot of times are violent, and I'm not into violence at all. And of course, since it's pictures, I don't want to see the violence. So I'm not interested probably in reading these. But let me know if you've read any of these. This is All-Star Western featuring Jonah Hex. He was trying to tell me who these people are, and I don't know anything about it. This is another one. This one I think is from the 1970s. Jonah Hex. And then he has this. He said this was the Kents. This is a graphic novel of Superman's like family back in Western days or something. I don't know. Clark Kent's family or something back in Western times or something like that. It's some kind of way it's connected to Clark Kent, Superman. So that's why he has that. And then this is another Jonah Hex, No Way Back. I think this is this is a graphic novel too. And then this one's called All-Star Westerns, Guns and Gotham. So it must be something to do with Batman. I don't know. This one's called Gunslinger. And this one is Gunslinger 2. Some kind of gunslinger. I don't know anything about these, but he collects comic books, graphic novels. He's big into all that. Again, I probably won't read those. I'm not the biggest graphic novel fan. It's funny because my boys have always loved graphic novels, and he's always loved those comic books. But I thought if you're interested, you might want to pick one of those up. He, again, loves a lot of those Western comic books from back in the day, but they're hard to come by. So he finds things that are related to, you know, the comics of today, that they kind of bring in a Western theme, and he has those in his collection. So those are the books that I have pulled from my son's library. Again, he loves Westerns, and he likes those old vintage ones. I have not read anything again except for True Grit. That's as much knowledge as I have on Western. But I am interested in trying it. I'm going to step out and I'm going to try a Western. If you've read any of these, let me know in the comments. Let me know if there's some book that I haven't mentioned that is a favorite, maybe Zane Grey or Louis L'Amour or another famous Western writer that I don't know about. Leave me a comment. Let's chat about it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.